What's really going on? What's up, everybody? It's Jason. And believe it or not, I'm driving. Well, look at the sunlight. If you can see, the sun is not piercing through that back window, but I have a 40-foot shipping container, a high cube, wind and watertight, green, just tagging along for the ride. Heading up Beeline Highway. A lot of time to do videos on this highway. Look at that. That's not effects, guys. I didn't learn how to edit. It's just the sun. But yeah, a lot of times I talk to my camera, talk to my phone when I'm heading up Beeline Highway because I don't get any radio reception. I get when the classic radio station goes out, I know I'm at the end of the possibilities of listening to music. And my phone reception's really bad here, so I can't Bluetooth and stream anything. And I'm too lazy and busy lately, and I have been for months, to pull out this doubled-in Apple CarPlay fancy stereo thing I got in here and swap it out for a same size, whatever, doubled-in, what they call those, with a CD slot in there. I know people tell me, CD, oh my God. Yeah, I listen to CDs. I like listening to a band all the way through, and I'm sure you can get playlists and do all that kind of stuff on different apps and subscriptions and paid whatever, but I'm not into that. So I try and keep my monthly bills down to zero if possible, other than food and fuel and right now electricity and water. But yeah, I don't have a bunch of streaming services and different monthly costs, so maybe I should for the $7 a month or is be able to listen to music all the time. But anyway, so this is why I do a lot of talking when I'm driving. So I'm basically thinking, and if I turn on the phone, I'm just recording my thoughts out loud. But yeah, today's subject, asshole truck drivers. So, and I've said that before in the past, and not all truck drivers are assholes. Technically, I'm driving a truck right now, but people will call what I do hot shot driving, because you're driving a smaller vehicle, and a lot of semi-trucks don't like that, whether you're at the gas station or on the highway, whatever it may be. For whatever reason, they don't seem to like that. I'm generalizing, obviously. I'm sure many of them don't give a rat's ass, just like I don't care who drives what, but in general, you get a reputation that some truck drivers don't like hotshot truck drivers, and by hotshot I mean like a dually, a smaller vehicle. Could be pulling a similar load, but yeah, you're pulling smaller loads and hot-shotting around in and out in a smaller truck, getting things done. But this particular conversation is about an asshole truck driver that was an asshole. So I have a problem with my lights. I put some aftermarket lights in my truck because the other ones are really bad. They were just all over the place. I did this a couple months back, and then recently something weird happened with the lights where I have brights, which don't look bright to me. They look like they're low beams, to be honest with you. And then when I turn off my low beams, or so I guess I say, my bright light indicator comes on when I'm running my low beams. You know, they're definitely lower beam, but it has the bright light indicator. When I turn the low beams on, those are my brights. I don't know why it did that or what it did. So I took out the lights and messed with them maybe a month or so ago. I thought I got it back to normal. And then all of a sudden I noticed when I turn on my low beams, my aftermarket fog lights come on, no matter if I have them on or not, which they're very bright. I got a really high-powered fog light because we deal with a lot of fog up here. And at nighttime, if there's no one on the road, I'll turn the fog lights on, and it kind of does, it's almost like a ditch light. It'll shoot light out to the sides. It's really bright. And I can see deers and elk and antelope on the side of the road, because we get tons of them out here now. It's pretty crazy how many we have. I've been to places like Montana, Wyoming, and Idaho and stuff, and thought like that's where all the animals are, which it is. But I can't believe how many we actually have up here. I've known that we have them. I just how abundant they are. So anyway, so long story short, my lights did something weird the other day where I only had high beams, which were bright but not crazy bright, or low beams with crazy bright fog lights. So I was like, this sucks. It was like 6 o'clock and my lights started doing something weird when doing that. So I'm driving down the highway heading into Phoenix, or through Phoenix, with my high beams on. So of course, you know, truck drivers and everything, people are flashing me and stuff, or oncoming traffic on the other side of the highway, and then people that come up are doing like a little courtesy flash, click, click, you know, which is fine. I do a little raise of my hand. I didn't have a load on there, so I was like, okay, I get it. You know, my lights are bright. You know, can't really talk through ripping down the highway at 75 miles an hour. But anyway, so everyone kind of gave me the hey Dick, you got brights on, click, which is fine. And I just did the wave, so that's cool. I figured I'll just check them out tomorrow in the daylight. I'm not going to pull her at 7 o'clock at night or so on the side of the highway in the desert. And I'm not an electrician. I'm definitely not an auto electrician at all. Anyway, so this one guy, I pass him, and I'm going by 80. I mean, I clip pretty good, 75 mile an hour speed limit, and I have nothing on you. This truck doesn't even realize I have a trailer back there. My trailer's really light. So I'm going about 80 miles an hour down the highway. The guy flashed me, and so I did like this, the way, like, yeah, I know, kind of just, not one of these, or these, just kind of like, yeah, kind of like I'll acknowledge the flash. And I thought we kind of understood each other like everyone else. So all of a sudden I realized this guy's up on my ass in a semi-truck, in England, I think an England semi-truck, but he's not an independent driver, he's driving for a company. I'm going 80, and this guy's going 80 on me because he got a downhill and he just, I guess, got aggressive. I keep, when I have no load, I can put my cruise control. It doesn't mess with my trans. When I have a load, I never use cruise. I don't want to damage the transmission. So I'm going 80. I'm not changing my speed. I know that, about 79, 80 miles an hour. Suddenly, he's on my ass, and he's flashing his brights. So mind you, he's a full semi-truck with a full trailer. So he's I don't know if he's loaded or not, but he's a heavy truck. And this dude can't be more than like 14 inches off my, the back of my trailer. And I'm thinking, like, what the hell? So then he just keeps the brights on. So I'm like, okay. So there's like 3 miles like this, and I mean we're out of Phoenix, we're going towards Quartzsite now, Tonopah or wherever it is over there, and I'm thinking, is that Tonopah, Arizona, or California? Anyway, we're heading into Quartzsite. So I decided to just let off the gas. I have an exhaust brake in here and I have an engine brake on my tow haul. So if I let off the gas with the engine brake and tow haul, this thing, it'll drop 20 miles an hour, like 100 feet. So and you don't see my brakes. So I dropped the exhaust brake and the engine brake, and I get down to 55 miles an hour, and he's still on my bumper, just brights on, flashing me. I'm thinking, like, dude, yeah, we got the point. Like, I don't understand. Like, I'm not going to fix my lights tonight. I was behind you for 200 yards maybe, and now you've been following me for 3 miles. So anyhow, I decided to drop the gas. I figured he's going to pull up next to me. He's going to say what he needs to say, whatever, and get on, and I'll put the light on here and give him the bird or something. I mean, let him know how I feel. I'm not really afraid of anyone. Life's too short to live in fear of anything. I mean, like, just one other man. I'm a man, big deal. And no reason to act like that either, so I just don't really understand it. But anyway, so I go down 55, he rips next to me, he's honking and being all crazy, rolls his window down, or I turn my light and I just go like this and give him the bird, I'm just, letting him know that I'm not the guy to play with, and I'm not really cool with the whole situation, and you've made your point for 3 miles now. They blinded me for 3 miles. I mean, I don't know if you're the citizen's arrest for traffic or for fixing tickets on the highway moving, but you're a semi-truck driver. I mean, like, you got to be used to assholes on the road, and I'm not intending to be an asshole. My lights are fucked up. And I mean, a semi-truck driver, you would think you just have better road etiquette. And like I said, I've said it before, some of those drivers don't have the best etiquette. Some of those guys will cut you off. Some of them's running. There's plenty of semi-truck drivers that run their brights the whole night. So I don't know if they just have bad vision, if they're like, fuck it, I'm going to run bright lights. Not on the back highways with deer. I'm talking like the main 4-lane highways. They'll just have their brights on coming at you or going past you. Or when you pass them, they'll flip their brights on within 20 feet like you're out of their distance. It's really bizarre. So I get that a lot. And normal cars do too. And now some of the normal trucks, I don't have, mine's an 09, but some of the newer, like 2023 pickup trucks have some bright lights, just normal. So even their standard lights are crazy. So I'll bright someone occasionally just do the courtesy bright, like, hey, your lights are bright. They'll give me their brights. I'm like, oh shit, those are way brighter. So some of the newer cars are quite a bit brighter. But anyway, so this guy pulls up next to me. I give him the bird. He rolls his window down. He's honking and talking shit. So I take my flashlight. I have a Bushnell flashlight you can get at Walmart. It's only about $40. It's a rechargeable battery, which is nice. And it's like 1,500 lumens. It's a bright light. So I give him a courtesy flash. He has high beam, low beam, and strobe. And the strobe's like at least 1,000 lumens. So I strobe this motherfucker for 30 seconds, out my window's down. And then he slows down and it never brights me again. And I just gave him a wave like, okay, we're done. And I drove off. And back up to about 85, 90 miles an hour just to put some distance on this idiot. And plus we climbed a hill, so he was just gone. So I pulled into Quartzsite. And I got to get gas, and the gas in Quartzsite's usually about $3.69. So not the cheapest gas you're going to get. Well, the last cheap gas you're going to go into California. That's where you definitely want to fill up. Both sides of Quartzsite, north and south, or east and west, whatever it is, both of them have a cheap gas station. But anyway, when I pulled in, I hit the first one. So in my head, I kind of thought maybe this guy will pull in there, and hopefully he's just cool and not being a dickhead, because I'm really not in the right mood for it. You're never in the mood for a road rage or some asshole. But I've always been kind of those guys. I'm never starting problems, but I never have a problem finishing them. And I'm not violent. I consider myself a dangerous man that can control himself. So I did boxing when I was younger. I mean, I grew up on watching boxing. So I know how to box, I know how to fight. I've been in plenty of fights in my life. I'm not a fighter per se, but I mean, I can't say that. I love boxing. I love the sport of it. I love doing it, sparring some of that. I love working out in that capacity. I still do it somewhat regularly today as a 48-year-old man. So, so anyway, like I said, I mean, getting in a fight, if you're in a fight, you can get hurt really bad in a fight. You can get in trouble in a fight. Other people can jump in and hurt you. Some people don't know when to stop. They want to make a point if they get you on the ground. So, and people nowadays don't really fight fair. And, most people have a weapon on them or whatever else, including myself. I carry. I'm a carry. So I'm a concealed carry when I'm, on the road, and I'm an open carry when I'm in my own area, because I don't feel like there's a threat. People know, we're all armed. It's all nice and polite. We all get along. So anyway, getting back to it, I pull in the gas station. It's crowded because it's a cheap gas station. There's 4 trucks deep, so that could take an hour at a gas station with the semi-trucks. I have a small tank, 30-something gallons, but those guys fill up a lot of fuel. So, so I go in to get some snacks. I fill up. I pull up to the waiting point. You want to pull forward so the next thing I can start filling. I get some snacks. I come walking back out, and I'm not thinking of that anymore. I'm just kind of like, it's over. Even if you're cool, calm, and collected, which I'm a pretty patient guy. I don't really get amped up. Like I said, I consider myself a dangerous person that can really control his attitude. And I can lay it on thick if I want to, but it's all controlled. It never comes out of me when I don't expect it. So I'm over it. Carrying some snacks out, some unhealthy food, a couple things of water, and some, he's a huskier guy, kind of chunky. You can tell probably was in shape back in his day, but the football years have long gone. You took semi-truck as a driver position. You're not playing b-ball. You're not playing football on the side. You probably used to be badass, but you're not anymore. Anyway, so that's the description. But as I walk by, a guy goes, "Hey, you need to get those lights fixed in that dually, right?" And I said, "Excuse me?" And he goes, "I said, you need to get the lights fixed on your dually." And I said, "Oh, are you the asshole in the red truck that was flashing your brights behind me?" And he said, "What?" I said, "Are you the asshole that was flashing your brights behind me in the red truck?" And he didn't know what to say. He was looking for a fighter, looking to be a badass, and I'm thinking, why would you give me car advice in the truck stop? I mean, you're already a complete fucking asshole on the road. You're flashing your brights, being a dick. And yeah, my brights are on. I can't do nothing about it. It was the lesser of the 2 options I had, and I got a long ways to go. I'm not going to just pull over the side of the road and call it a night. I mean, some truck drivers will probably tell you should have pulled your truck over and called it an evening. But like I said, a lot of truck drivers run their brights all night long and never, even if you flash them, they're like, whatever, bro, because they're on the road all day long. Man, their eyesight's going, or they just want to be able to see clearly, or they just don't care. I figure they'll never see you again, so big deal. So anyway, and when I talk to people, I have situational awareness. People always think I'm a cop or whatever else. I've never have been a cop. I'm not saying good or bad on cops. I have some good friends that are cops. I've had some bad interactions with the police officers as well. I think the ones on the highway patrol are road pirates, extorting us for our money, and a lot of them are unfortunately hypocrites, and that's nothing to be rude. I'm saying a lot of them do hypocritical stuff like speed and do all kinds of reckless stuff in their car, but then they give us tickets for it, for going 5 miles on a speed limit. So that's a whole other video. But yeah, so anyway, the situational awareness, I've always had it. I've always been very alert. I'm clean and sober, which may mean nothing to most people, but that means I'm very alert and I'm never out of my element. So I'm always kind of watch my 6, keeping myself going. Always watch what's going on around me. Like I said, just general situational awareness. So I turn my body to where I'm in not a fighting stance, but if you've ever boxed, if you're a lead jab and you're an orthodox hand, you're going to have your right shoulder pointing towards someone. It changes your target to where you're thinner. You're not a wide block. Now you're an angled block that can move in and out off the target line, and you can get your front arm, which is your jab, to someone's chin pretty fast. And I haven't been in a fight in a while, and I can tell you when you are in a fight with a normal human being, that most likely hasn't been in a fight for a long time and probably has never trained in boxing or martial arts or anything like that, or karate or whatever, or some sort of grappling or wrestling. A lot of people like to wrestle. I'm just saying from experience, if you get in a fist fight, which you don't want to, you want to use your situation awareness and your verbal skills to keep your knuckles clean and keep yourself out of jail. So keep yourself out of hurting people, because anything can happen. You know, it's not probably worth it. But anyway, you hit someone with a jab a couple times in the face. Most people don't even know what fucking hit them, and you can usually hit them with two more. You can do 2 jabs in the left and the right cross or hooks. In my experience, before people even get one punch on you. So, especially if you're someone athletic or you're alert. Anyhow, so I turn my body that way and I'm ready. I have a bag in my left hand, so I'd have to drop the bag to do anything. My right hand's clean. I always keep my right hand clean because where I grab my keys, that's also where I carry my sidearm, and that's also my power hand, and my control hand as far as power goes. But anyway, so the guy gets a little startled by the asshole comment and this and that, and he says, well, yeah, he's like, you didn't need to brighten me. You didn't need to shine your flashlight like that on me. And I said, what are you talking about? I said, I have a problem with my lights. So yes, you are correct. I need to fix my lights. I said, I'm not going to fix them tonight. It's late. I'll fix them in the morning. I got somewhere to go. And I said, you didn't. I go, people have been giving me a bright for a while, so I knew something was wrong with my lights. And I just give them a courtesy wave, just like I did you. I said, but then you proceeded to haul ass up on me at 80 miles an hour. Camp 14 inches off my back tailgate, which is reckless and dangerous, and you're doing it. And I said, just to be a fucking dickhead. Like, what did you try and prove? Did you think you proved something? And he didn't know what to say. He just kind of stood there. He's like, yeah, but you didn't need to flash your light. He went back to that, and I'm thinking, like, you drove up 80 miles an hour, riding me for 3 miles. I slowed down to give you an indication I'm done playing. You pull next to me, you start yelling at me, I flip you off, and then I bright you with my strobe light. I mean, if anything, we're just going dickhead to dickhead here. So anyway, I said, I just don't know why you think that you're in charge and you can do whatever you want and no one else can. So on that, he basically tells, I said, well, you basically pulled a dickhead move, correct? And he goes, okay. And I pulled a dickhead move back. So I said, maybe we could just leave on the terms that you're a dickhead and I'm a dickhead, and that's it. And he said, yeah, I think that's what it is. So it's just like, what a weird situation, like, what were you hoping to get out of that? I mean, he was trying to look for a fight, and he just didn't know how to, didn't know what to do in the situation. But anyway, so getting back to it, you don't have to be violent all the time. I don't know what's going on in society. It just seems like more and more, with all the BS from our politics to our regulations to the cost of living, inflation, overcrowding. People just have shit attitudes, man. And I get it in Phoenix. I get it in Southern California, Orange County, Los Angeles. Not saying we're perfect up here, but when I get up into like Payson, even Mesa, I mean, I just get a little bit more spread out. But especially you start going north and get up to our area, it just seems like people are so much more chill. I mean, you could run into the wrong person anytime, or you could have a bad day anytime you want. But I mean, I just don't. It just seems like people are at like that popping level right now. So throw in the comments. If you guys had any weird situations like that, I'd be curious to hear. Or if you guys think the same thing. Are people just at a melting point right now? Is it like a pressure cooker where people are just looking for anything? Not maybe looking for trouble, but like one thing that happens and are just fucking like road rage. But a semi-truck driver, and like I said, I've said things about semi-truck drivers as a stereotype before. I mean, stereotypes are what they are. It's a stereotypical generalization, so not everyone falls in the category. But I would think a truck driver, a semi-truck driver specifically, that's on the road 24/7, especially if you're not an independent contractor or an operator, you're basically working for a company. I mean, you're a 9-to-5 employee basically, maybe longer hours I'm saying, but you're working for hours, you're working for a company. I mean, like, you're used to being on the road. That might not be the greatest job for you. Maybe get out and do something you actually enjoy. But I would think that you would have good road etiquette because you're on the road just all freaking day, man. Like, you've seen every asshole. You've been cut off by the Prius. You've had the cops pull you over and shake you down for just the stupidest shit ever, just to ruin your day, and because they're having a bad time, or maybe you were doing an infraction, whatever. But you got a warning, you got a big ticket. I would think a truck driver would be very, very chill personality-wise. Like, they would understand what they got into, and they would just see everything. So, like, someone with a bright light coming up on you in a small truck that's 3-4 feet below your sight line, even though they're blinding you, maybe, I think they give you the courtesy. I think you'd just be over that. But anyway, so yeah, I don't understand the animosity, all the pressure cooker attitude, but people in general, man, are just. I had another incident with a security guard that same night at Walmart, not sleeping there, so I did get the knock. I wasn't sleeping. I was checking my damn phone, parked in a parking lot because I was on Beach Boulevard in Garden Grove, and I just didn't have anywhere to pull over, so I pulled this Walmart parking lot. Man, this guy was a dick. That's a whole other story. Already went 19 minutes on this one, but that guy, we use the FU word quite a bit. So I went from, what can I do for you, to FU in about 2 seconds, and we went for a full FU conversation. Well, let's just put it that way. I feel I won that one too, because I walked out of there, drove out of there just fine and dandy, and man, he was pissed off. So, but yeah, I guess that's a talent I have too. If someone treats me shitty, I have a pretty good ability to treat them shittier. I think it's the right word, shittier. I'm going to look up in the dictionary. But yeah, I mean, if people want to raise it up to here, I can raise it up right above that bar, or even like further if I want to. Verbally, obviously, I talk for a living most of my life. I got the gift of gab, or the diarrhea of the mouth, as some people would say. But you're not going to out-talk me. You're not going to out-argue with me. So I don't know why people don't realize that in the first couple sentences, like this dude's like a professional talker. Maybe just leave him alone. Or I talk and they just get more mad. So I guess that's fine too. I have that effect. But yeah, so I don't know what's going on. It seems like people are just more and more pissed off lately than they have been in the past. And that's just the direction, I guess, where society's going. So all the more reason to get the fuck out of civilization and get some off-grid property. Get a lot of people I know talking about buying property, getting off the grid, getting out of the area, whatever it may be. I'd strongly advise it. I can tell, I lived in Big Bear, California, so I was a little bit away from all the congestion. I mean, it got congested there too, but from the city. But the year and a half, almost 2 years now up here, in 3.5, almost 4 years of like being in this area, looking at land and camping up here and buying places and stuff like that. Driving all the way to Long Beach, California, spending the night down there, spending the night down in Quartzsite area, spending the night down in Phoenix area, just driving back and forth for hobby business purposes. I mean, I can drastically see the difference between my little rural area we're living in right now, my attitude up there. My attitude doesn't really change, but like, how I'm perceived, how I'm communicated with, but just the general temperature of people, their attitudes and their demeanor up in the rural areas compared to that city slicker, overcrowded lifestyle, like holy shit, it couldn't be more apparent. So yeah, so for people that are on the fence about moving out to off-grid or rural environments, I mean, if anything, just that relaxing, kind of mellow, maybe some more pressures than you'd have as far as creating maybe what you want to create, building stuff, or fitting in, or figuring out, what you need, what you don't need. But man, not dealing with all that commotion and bullshit and overcrowding and those bad attitudes. I mean, I'm seeing it real apparent now, like I said. So maybe everyone else is seeing it, maybe there aren't. Just my rant for the day. The security guard will be in a separate video. But anyway, it was just a rant about it. Asshole truck driver met his match with a dickhead hotshot guy. So right on, guys. Hope everything's doing well out there. Try and stay safe. Try and put the heat out, man. If you're in a situation like that, you can go to fisticuffs if you want to. I'm pretty confident in my boxing skills. I still got it at 48. I'm not as fast. I videotaped myself boxing the other day just to see form and things like that, not for vanity purposes. And man, those punches were coming slow, but I can still hit pretty hard, man. Don't let me hook that body of yours. You'd be hurting. But so anyway, but yeah, it's always good to alleviate the violence. There's no reason for violence. I feel if someone hits you, hit them back. If someone's hurting someone that you love and care about, definitely make that person pay in pain. If you feel like your life is being threatened, definitely use the correct force to end that threat. But if you can, alleviate the situation. If you got good verbal skills, if you don't have good verbal skills, just take the person away from the problem and break it down. Usually cooler heads prevail. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. People just seem kind of shitty these days. So I don't like to lower myself to that standard, so I try and just have fun with it. Try and work circles around with them and communication-wise, and I try and pretty much let them know I think they're a complete asshole. I'm not even call them an asshole like I did this guy, but I try and alleviate the best I can verbally so no one's got to get karate chopped. Woo!